Hello, welcome back to Rev Endurance Sports. And as one of my subscribers said, Rick Liang, you are expecting video number 3 in this series. And yes, we definitely have video number 3. Tubeless repair for this tire. I'm taking one for the team, guys. I'm doing this in the pursuit of research. Okay, so yesterday at the Wednesday evening shop ride, the second rubber strip that I put through the tire also blew out. And I think I was running about 70 psi, so I wasn't even up to my regular 80 psi pressure. We're talking about a Continental 5000 TL tubeless tire, which has a thicker casing than the new STR tire. So I keep thinking that these little strips will hold, but they're not. So I sprayed everyone that was riding with me. I sprayed them, pulled over, put a tube in, finished out the ride. There was another mechanical issue on the bike, and I ended up riding in my 5339 chainring with my 11-tooth cog. I have no idea what happened with that, but that'll be another video. Okay, so I have been interacting with folks on social media, whether it be Facebook or YouTube and stuff. And one or two people in particular said, hey, I used to use, or I have used Shoe Goo to some success. And I'm like, okay. I'll give it a shot. And some people have said super glue, and some people, I mean, this is the fun part of having this channel, right? I get to interact with you, and I get to hear about a bunch of hacks. So in this case, a gentleman said, yes, I was a mechanic for a few years, and I worked in a bike shop, and this is what we did. So remember, again, this is all in the pursuit of research. And these tires, it's a $100 tire. So it's not cheap to just throw this thing away just because you have a small puncture. By the way, don't forget that all you have to do is put a tube in your tire. So a lot of folks panic when they are riding tubeless, and you're like, well, it's not that big of a deal. If you get a flat on your regular tires, you'll have to put a tube in your tires anyway. So if this doesn't seal, just pull up on the side of the road, dump the sealant out, put a tube in. Also, by the way, there is a lot of rolling resistance research out there that latex tubes work extremely well to lower that rolling resistance. So if you don't want to go tubeless, you can use a standard 5000 tire or Corsa or whatever you want to use, and then use a latex tube inside. Okay, so let's talk about Shoe Goo for a minute. And I'm going to read this, and of course I need my readers, so stand by. So this stuff here, they say you could put it on. If you want additional layers, you'd want 3 to 4 hours for it to kind of build a thicker coating. You allow 3 to 4 hours and put another coat on. This says to allow it to cure for 24 hours, and maximum strength will be achieved between 48 and 72 hours. So I don't have 48 or 72 hours before my next long ride. So I'll just have to put a different tire on and, use a tube. But I wanted to take you through this process. I'm doing it for the first time, so this would be educational for you as well. Okay, so let's zoom in here on the tire that we're working with. And this is the hole that has been causing all these issues. It's just this hole right here. So it's not much, but it just won't seal. And it's right on the crown of the tire, so I'm surprised that it won't seal. And then this is what it looks like from the inside. Right there. So what I've done just prior to starting this video is I just took some cleaners and just tried to clean this area. And then the last thing I'm going to do, which I thought I would just do with you on the screen, and I just use a Scotch-Brite pad just so I can get a nice, or to get all the sealant, because I had a lot of sealant going on. And so there's sealant on the top, there's sealant on the bottom. So we're just trying to clean the area as best as possible. And, you know, alcohol is just one of those things that typically is always recommended before you glue anything, you know, even frame stickers, a chainstay protectors, any frame protectors, anything like that. So we're going to let that dry. And then we got the other side. So you can see I've already scrubbed this part clean of the sealant. And so the last part is just getting this to be clean with the alcohol. Now, so luckily the hole is big enough that we could see it on both sides. And this is something that one of the guys on Facebook said, hey, you know, you can put sealant on the other side too. So this little bit of fuzz, I hope, is not going to be an issue, but you can see the hole much better from the outside, and it's just a small hole on the inside. But it's just enough to cause an issue. Okay. Also, before starting to film, I punctured this, so we would have a little bit less time doing this setup. So I'm going to put some there on the outside. I'm sure once I ride, the rest of it's going to go away. And then we're going to put some on the inside. And I mean, this hole is so small. It's just, why is it causing so much issues with sealing? And why isn't the sealant working, right? I mean, isn't that the whole big deal about running tubeless? So I know that a lot of folks are still apprehensive. You know, if you're riding mountain bike tubeless, it works extremely well at, you know, 20, 15, 30 psi. It works really well for that. The road pressures has still been an issue. Now, I'm very curious because Silca just released a new sealant. I wonder if you have used it, please put a comment down below. Silca released a new sealant that's got carbon fiber particles in it. And it is so dense that they do not want you to use an injector, right? So if you don't know what I'm talking about, they don't want you to use, for example, you know, this is an example of one, the Stan's injector. They want you to pour the sealant directly into the tire, which works great for mountain bike tires, but you know, for a lot of road tires, you don't have much of a well when you're pouring that in there. And then, especially the 5000 tire, it's extremely hard to get on, so you'll end up spilling and it'll go places. But the particles, the carbon fiber particles, are so big that they don't want you to use an injector because it clogs the injector. So the 3 millimeter or 4 millimeter hole of the valve is even smaller than that injector hose. So, all right, so this is part 3 of all of this. Now we're going to let this sit 24 hours at least. Next long ride is Saturday morning. So today is Thursday evening, about 4:30 p.m. So let's say Saturday morning, it'll be at least, 36 hours from now. And then I'll put it on and see if it holds with regular sealant. Now, it's fairly thick. If you can take a look at it, it looks like it's going to make a pretty big opening there. Scab, if you will. So I'm kind of massaging the tire to see if maybe it'll seep into the hole better. I don't know how else to assist it to get in there, but well, okay, so that's where we're going to leave it for today. We'll follow up with this in a few days. In the meantime, I'll just put a regular tire on and put a tube in it, and off we go. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you up the road.